of cold and the correct amount of reduction in moisture to just enjoy the snowfall. But here we kind of get sludgy, wet kind of snow. But I'm looking forward to it. It's not a common occurrence, is what I'll say. So it's one of those weird once a year sort of like, oh look, it's happening. The thing's happening. But let's forget about the weather. Let's try and stay toasty and blast through some gaming news. You guys ready? It's a lot of it. Well, yeah, there's a decent amount of it. I think it's going to get heavy as we go, because I'll point out one thing during the news when we get to it. But it's a funny thing that they stated about essentially the game Summer of Games. But let's do it. Let's do some gaming. Are you guys ready for gaming? Gaming. One day I would love to have like a custom news little intro that's like has like video games and stuff being shown off. The thing is, chat, I'm not a video editor. I've never trained to do it, so it's like I have no idea to do that stuff. But man, it would be amazing to have like a custom video intro for the gaming news at some point. But welcome on in for the gaming news of the 4th of June 2022. It is here. We are in the summer of games. It's begun. June is the time, and we've got quite a bit to cover. So, weird thing is, it seems like now most companies are going to refer to as this time period as Summer of Games, even though it's not being presented by Jeff or his team. So, I guess the state of play happened, and it's tied to it. But it's just essentially the time period in which stuff is going to be announced, more so than anything. So June is going to be a very busy time period. We already have had some crazy announcements, and I'm looking forward to showing some of these off. I have a lot of thoughts on some of the stuff. You've probably seen my big old rants over on Twitter or on Discord, and I'm very excited. Some cool shit's been shown off. Next year is going to be pretty amazing. Again, I'm kind of waiting for those announcements that will be more tied to the end of the year in terms of announcement dates for release dates. But we might be holding out a little bit to see those ones. But let's do it. Let's jump on in. First up, Summer Game Fest 2022 will feature more than 30 participating companies. So this is what I was just speaking about. This is kind of weird. So originally I was talking about how the Summer of Games, we're seeing a transition of this from taking over from E3. So instead of being a one big like sort of production sort of like grouping thing, we're now getting lots of individual companies deciding to do their presentations themselves. Yeah, we've already started seeing it with Sony, but other companies will probably be doing it, such as Atlas, Bandai Namco, Capcom, Microsoft, Miyoyo, I never get it right, Sega, Sony, Square Enix, Warner Brothers, and others. The full list is here. There is a lot, and a lot of them are very like sort of well-known companies. Coffee Stain, interesting. So look forward to that. I think a lot of them will do it as part of the Summer of Games, because the actual Summer of Games presentation, because some of these aren't as big as studios as other. Sony doing theirs is going to be a collection of studios they are representing, and same with Microsoft. But I would say these other ones will probably be amongst other presentations or amongst the Summer of Games actual presentations listening. So some big ones here. So we have a lot of news to look forward to. Some of it might be announcements, some of it might be extensions, some of it might be release dates. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun on the bun. I'm very excited. You got a birthday gift? Ooh, exciting, kid. What did you get? But before we jump into the Summer Games, we've got a few general cleanup things to talk about. Just a few things. There wasn't a lot of general news that I felt like was sort of needed to talk about as much as needing to talk about the bigger things. Because we only have X amount of time. Yoko Taro claims Sin O Alice will not end in a regular way. I am very glad to hear this. So Sin O Alice has a pretty crazy story. I ended up consuming a lot of this. Capcom gave you a gift for your birthday. Oh, wait, which game? We'll talk about that in a bit. We'll get to that one. Jumping ahead. Sin O Alice, though, I've already consumed quite a bit of the story from like external media reading and stuff like that because I didn't really have time to play it as a gacha. It's very pretty. It's kind of old and arcane in the sense there's a mobile gacha now. I would say that's unfortunately the same thing with Nier Reincarnation. I do love both games, and I think the story is the reason to play these games, but I feel like they're probably not as big as they would have been still. But essentially with this, Yoko Taro, we all know he's an amazing writer, and I'm looking forward to hear how he wants to approach this, because he doesn't like making games normally, ironically. As much as like the game itself is kind of tropey, he does want to introduce some interesting things to how it ends, and we'll see. I'm curious how he wants to approach it. Probably fourth wall breaking story stuff, so love the art in this game though. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak will not have village quests. So a lot of Sunbreak announcements have come out, a lot of news, a lot of details. A lot of that news I'm not going to cover because it's just a very large collection. There's been all the weapon videos, there's been lots of little pieces of information, some amazing changes in terms of sort of mechanically some stuff, just how the game is going to work. There's been also some changes in terms of re-announcements essentially, where all the additional skills we'll have for the various weapons, the ones we've seen may not be the extent of it. We might see more for every weapon. So that might be the Monster Hunter team kind of having a little reaction going, oh, we should probably do something. But considering the reaction to Lance versus Longsword, community kind of went at each other's throat on that one. But I'm not sure they're going to have the time to make major changes. So whatever they're saying is in the game will probably be already in the game, because we are less than a month away. We're probably 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away. So, but no village quests. That's fine. If you've ever played Monster Hunter, older games, village quests were not really a thing into the higher tiers so much. As focusing on the hub quests. But it is interesting because it is a completely different visual setting to not have them, but I think it'll still be fun. Hopefully they have enough for us to do. That's the only thing I really pray for, because again, I would say that's the largest problem with Rise, is I think that it did not have enough unique fun stuff to do in the end game. And if this game is not having hub quests, village quests, hopefully we have enough hub quests and enough just variancy on things to do, considering that there may be new mode stuff in here, but we'll see. I'm excited. I always love Monster Hunter. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series gameplay video show of both games. I have not watched these, but I kind of want to sit down and watch these at some point, but you can see there's quite a few videos have been put out. This game looks pretty. This game's polish in terms of visuals has come out pretty nice, and I think that this will just be a fun thing to get around to eventually. But it's a remake to the original Klonoas. It's not anything in terms of new content as far as we know, but it looks fun. It looks nice. It looks fun. It looks exactly like it probably should. But it'll be curious to see how well this sells, because I wouldn't say Klonoa was a huge seller back in the day, but we're in the realm of remakes and all that sort of thing, so we probably will see a decent selling for a lot of this stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for this. So Klonoa will be coming out on, I think they've got the date on here, hopefully. It is coming out on July 8th, 2022. So we're not too far away from it. But if you want to dig into, these videos are out there to go check out. And I'm looking forward to this game. All right. Let's get this ball rolling. We're not quite there just yet. But, oh my God, why has this changed? Now, chat. Something's changed again. I'm just gonna fix something, because I don't know how this has happened. Sometimes I swear it thinks my window gets smaller. I don't really know what's up with that, and then it just adjusts it. So let's jump in here. So upcoming events. We've actually got a couple of events. I actually thought I'd be announcing more of these over the past few months than I have, and I thought that we would have a few more announced already. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, fortunately, there are a couple, but some of them individualized, which is kind of funny. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 will have a worldwide reveal on June 8th. I'm not really too sure how much I care about Call of Duty these days. I haven't played one in a very long time. But I always liked Modern Warfare 1. But Modern Warfare 2 is something that people have been waiting for a long time, and people are very excited for this game, I think, or relatively excited for the Call of Duty fan base. I don't know how much the confidence people will have in them for doing it, but it's certainly something that will probably get a lot of media attention, at least. So, June 8th, that's only a few days away, and mark it on your calendars. Digital Devolver marketing countdown for marketing to... What, this is a weird headline. Devolver Digital marketing countdown to marketing 2022 set for June 9th. I guess that's literally what they've called it. So, there's going to be a Devolver Digital presentation on May 9th. Again, I'm not a huge Devolver fan, but they always have ridiculous presentations. So if you want to watch a very bizarre presentation, you're probably going to find it here. These are always the ones where you're not quite sure what you're going to get. They're kind of cursed. Half the time I'm not even sure they're relevant to the games industry, but it's seemingly the fans want this, so they get more of it. It was terrible, that COD that I played, and I never touched COD after that. Which one? Since World at War? Was World at War the first of the retro ones after Call of Duty 4? I think I like World at War. I think I liked that one. I don't know. I don't. Call of Duty has been out of my wheelhouse for a long time. I have not played a lot of FPSs in quite some time, but I don't know about the sales, but they're kind of going down and down and down. So I can get the JoJo game for September. Is it coming to PC? I didn't realize it was coming to PC. But that's pretty good, if it is. I'm looking forward to that game. I think, considering I've played the original version of it, and it was pretty dog shit. Not gonna lie, for those who have not played the original version of that JoJo game coming out, it was pretty bad as a fighting game. It felt not good. Visually fantastic, references fantastic. It was pretty rough though, so I'm kind of waiting. I'm kind of waiting to see that the multiplayer has been fixed up quite a lot, but also the fact that the netcode, but I don't think it's going to. It had no multiplayer or anything. I don't think that's the one I was talking about, Kit, because I played that online. I remember playing that with people, so probably might have been a different one, maybe. All right, any announcements? Yes, there are announcements. A lot of announcements. I can't stress how many announcements there are. So this will probably be the primary section of today's news. And so you don't have to ask a question to ask a question. Evercade XP handheld announced. So this is kind of a smaller announcement. These things come by every now and then. This one, I'm assuming this is probably just based on a lot of like Raspberry Pi sort of situations and things like that. But it's just a quaint little retro device, retro handheld. So if you would like another little handheld, this one makes a little bit more sense to some of the other ones that I've seen. And it looks all right. I mean, it looks like it runs on Fightcade, ironically. I'm not actually sure if it is, but it looks good. And it looks like it has a few good titles on here. So if you want another retro little gaming platform, then thank you, Kit, for gifting a sub to NC. I appreciate it. But yes, yeah, if you want another little handheld like gaming device, go for it. I think this is not going to be too bad of a device. It looks like it retails. It's quite expensive actually. Just looking at this, it is 129 pounds, 149 euros. I think this must be American, but yeah. What if the question is not news related? Then I may or may not answer it. Depends. We'll see. You can ask question. You don't have to ask a question. It's just how much I'll talk about it during the news. It was World at War. I remember it since it was on the PS2. So yeah, it probably was the same game, but there was multiplayer on that game because I remember playing that with people. All right, let's get into some big boys. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet launch November 18th. And they reveal their legendaries. We'll go and find the trailer. I kind of have... we're looking at this. I'd rather look at the actual reveal. This is unfortunately an article that is doing it the wrong way around. But Lechonk is a treasure. You guys may have seen my posts about this. We'll talk about this one. But I was not the biggest fan of this reveal. You may have seen. But I can tell that there is... as always, the Pokemon community very, very happy to this for anything. On next anniversary, drop another 100. I don't know when I do it. I skipped the anniversary for this year. The anniversary was quite a little bit back, but I missed this year's one. Maybe we'll do one next year. I don't know. We'll see. Your background music? Oh. Thank you, Red. All right, we ready? So, if you've not seen this trailer, let's jump on in. Oh, this is the original announcement trailer. We don't want the announcement trailer. Come on, Pokemon. Help me out here. Where are we? Where's the reveal trailer? Hang on, is it not here? There it is. So, this is the trailer. This is the second trailer we're getting. It's got a lot more going on it. Hi, Octo. Welcome on in. No dislikes. I don't have the mod installed so I can see the likes and dislikes that have been hit. So, this game looking mighty crunchy. Mighty crunchy still. But as we can see, it is an open world game. We're getting revealed of the new professors. We're getting dual professors for some reason. I'm not sure it's in each in a different game. But the lighting is pretty rough here. And my biggest takeaway from this is, unfortunately, I think that the human models do not look great. I think the models look pretty rough in this. This change of art style is just very strange. I think they're trying to maybe make it distance themselves from the sort of chibi look they used to have, but moving away from the old art style, I'm not sure is the right call here. But custom avatars are back. Big thing about this game is seemingly that you can have 4-player multiplayer at the same time. Don't know what that means though, but you can clearly see the Pokemon Legends engine at work here, which, I mean, it's kind of a part of the reason why it looks a little bit muddy, because it's just how they're rendering it. And there's your boy. The internet loves Lechonk. We get our first glimpse of like the new UI as well. How am I doing? I'm doing well, Octo. We're doing some news recaps. So we're getting some return of Pokemon. Again, at least the frame rate in these trailers isn't falling apart like it did when they first revealed Legends. So obviously this was being made alongside Legends. But yeah, I can tell that people are probably very excited to actually have a mainline Pokemon game in an open world. But it does look like their development is not been able to polish it enough for the Switch. So it's still looking quite rough. And the reveal, we kind of teased, we kind of showed it off a little bit just before, but if you have not seen Legendaries, here they are. Wheel Boy and Rocket Boy. I'm assuming they must be 2 parts to one Pokemon maybe, and you literally get a motorbike out of them or something, motorbike jet, but there they are. Very un-Pokemon looking Pokemon. They're very funny looking. I kind of don't mind their designs fully. I think that they look kind of messy, but I do like the colors. I think the colors are quite nice for these two. But this boy's swallowed a tire. This guy's swallowed also a tire, but someone turned around his jet engine legs. So, I don't know. Sada is Scarlet and Taro is Violet? Wait. Oh, so they do have a different professor for each of the games. Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's actually a lot of extra information out there. There's a lot of like art and stuff out there for these games. So if you want to go dive into some additional news related to these games, Pokemon Company have put a bit out there. So definitely go have a look. I think that these two look probably better in their 2D art form than they do in 3D. But yeah. Nintendo has no dislikes. Look at that one Nintendo Switch Online trailer. Well, yeah, I probably should go get that mod to install so we can see, but I think it skews everything now because people just don't dislike because they can't see the dislike bar. But yeah, I'm not a fan of these new models. I don't think they look very Pokemon-y, and I don't think the designs are very like striking. But I think these may be the generic clothes that to try and encourage you to do custom outfits for your character, because we can clearly see that these characters have already got some custom outfits. They're still running around in school uniforms, but it's... we'll see. But to me, I'll be honest, chat. I'll be real with you. As I said, this looks like I'm looking at a Korean game, like a Korean ripoff of these particular types of games. And kind of got mobile feel to it. But I think some people are really into it. Some returners in here that people will probably be excited for. Some new ones. I like this boy. I think this guy's cute, but he's probably the only one I would say that feels super Pokemon-y. This lad reminds me so much of us playing Tomba. It's a little weird, but he's pretty cute. I think that I can understand the internet going a little bit crazy over this lad. But like I said, we got to see the UI for the game for the first time. It kind of looks a little retro, if I'll be honest. Unlike the Sword and Shield one, I thought was a bit not fantastic. This actually is a little bit more structured and less colorful. It feels a lot more basic for whatever reason, but it's fine. I think it's fine they've done this. But yeah, lots of environments, in-game trading. Supposedly you can have multiple players in the overworld at the same time, which... Look, I don't have a huge amount of confidence in Game Freak after Sword and Shield, considering how it could barely run the open world areas. To have a scenario now where they're doing an open world area with 4 players, with online multiplayer, I don't know what that's going to be. We'll see. It's very strange, but fingers crossed they've really, really tried to figure that out as a main seller, and this has got a bit more polish on it, but protect their corporate. Yeah, it's true, Octo. I want to be the one with the Gramps in the forest battle. And I very much like you always play as a kid as Pokemon. I doubt that they'll ever change that. The game is aimed at kids, so I don't think they'll ever change it. We've heard. So I'm going to move on to a news piece after this, and this will probably be one of the reasons why I think that you'll never see that stuff as well. But hey, Superwoman, welcome on in. People saying it legitimately looks awful equals bullying. These corporations think everything. Oh my god, yeah, no. Don't befriend corporations. Don't befriend corporations. Pokemon Company is not your friend. YouTube's not your friend. But yeah, these legendaries, I think, just don't quite look like Pokemon. I think this guy on the left definitely looks a little bit more Pokemon-y. I think the one on the right, the top half does, but they're very intense looking. But at least I feel like they got a little bit more going on than the sword and shield doggos from the previous game. So I think some people will be really into them. The thing is, I don't think they look like great Pokemon, but I genuinely, as a Digimon fan, as a monster collecting fan, think these look like fun designs. I don't think these look terrible. I do think the fact that his feet are backwards, I don't know if he transforms, but the fact that these are backwards makes me wonder whether or not they do transform, because I just wish they went backwards. I think I'd be more happy if they didn't. I'm in Team Violet. Hell yeah. I actually might be in Team Scarlet for this one. I really like the colors. These colors are my colors on the Violet one, but I kind of like the design for the Scarlet one, actually. The new Sonic model movie? Yeah. I'm saving for a new desk in Splatoon 3. Don't worry, a lot of people are waiting for a lot of Splatoon movies. We're really kind of waiting for that one. I'm a monster. I'm a monster who always gets both games. I can't. I'm not even. Okay, here's the thing, chat. When this trailer dropped and I watched it, I was so displeased with it. I was like, I'm probably not going to get this game. I'm not sure I'm going to get this. I'm still in the house that Sword and Shield burned me so hard, but Legends was fun. So I'm in this weird space now. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see. I need more justification to get this game, I think, right now. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. But yes, if you haven't seen, there is a whole heap of art out. So such as the 2D art for the two legendaries, the new professors, which people are going crazy over. Cave Woman Professor, and Mariner. Chad Professor, who looks, honestly, I think his 3D model looks awful. His face looks not great. I don't think the 3D models have really done this art style quite some justice. Oh yeah, and these are the new Pokemon. So we got Pwami, who's this little chunky fella, Lechonk, who is a literal chunky fella, and Smolvy, a small chunky fella. And I've already seen lots of fan art about these Pokemon, and that's it. Honestly, I've talked about it before. Pokemon fans just need one good design and they'll just go nuts. And I think that's where we are with Lechonk. I think people just, it's just a cute pig. People are into cute pigs, and there you go. I've had my current desk for about 5 years. I've had my desk, Octo. I've got a really good desk. I've had mine for about 12 years now. I get a good desk, you don't have to change it. I'm getting burned out. I still need to finish Sword and Shield. I need Legends Diamond. Yeah, I think the thing is, if you're an adult, you don't need to play every Pokemon game, honestly, unless you're a massive Pokemon fan. A Pikachu clone, a Digimon, and Lechonk. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, this thing, like, I kind of agree. This kind of does look like a Digimon. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think this Pikachu clone looks great. I don't think he's necessarily a nice looking design. But Smolv looks like he's about to burst in tears. I mean, that's why you've got to raise him, give him love, and then evolve him. That's their intention. They're trying to get you in with those little eyes. Still know what starter to get on the fence. I'm on the fence, either grass, fire, grass, and I'm not a fan of duck. I, without a doubt, will be getting the grass one. Like, I like grass types more often than not, and it's a grass cat. Like, I'm not going to not pick the grass cat unless its final form is ridiculous. Like if you got the frog from the previous game from Sword and Shield. I feel if you got that final form, yeah, feel a little sorry for you on that one. Wait, was it a frog? I can't remember what the stars were in Sword and Shield. But yeah, lizard. Sprigato is love. I do love Sprigato. I think he's very cute. But yes, so yeah, moving on with more Pokemon stuff. We actually had another announcement alongside it. For fans of Undertale and Deltarune, Toby Fox is actually composing some Pokemon music. So this is kind of weird. This isn't the first time he's done this, by the way. So I think you might actually get some moments with some really banging tracks, because I don't think Sword and Shield had a lot of fantastic music, but this is pretty cool. I'm kind of excited for this, but it's not going to be necessarily a draw card, but definitely will have people getting pretty hooked on certain songs from the game. So saw some art of Smoliv and Sobble, where Smoliv starts sobbing and then Sobble starts sobbing. Oh, that's pretty cute. I don't like the final designs. I think people don't like the standing up designs of Pokemon anymore. I think people don't want the bipedal. I'm not that concerned. Like I've said, big fan of lots of various monster raising games, and as long as the designs, I look at them and I go, that's a Pokemon design, or that feels correct for a Pokemon design. These ones I would say I'm not really feeling. I would say Cat certainly does. Duck kind of does, but he at the same time has little human energy, and this boy, he does not look like a Pokemon. He looks like an old Japanese media, avatar, essentially. It's, yeah. I don't know if he really looks like a Pokemon, but people are sort of kind of into him, so it's fine. Toby Fox needed a break from making Deltarune. Yeah, I would imagine he probably has quite a bit of downtime sometimes for his development, because he has actually got a dev team now, so I would imagine that he's not constantly working like he was in the past, but he loves his music, so it's good to see he's still making stuff. But tying together the piece of news with the announcement of that game, this announcement was made just before the release of that trailer. Junichi Masuda is being taken out of Game Freak and effectively being promoted, quotation marks, to Pokemon Company, and he is going to act as their Chief Creative Fellow. Never a title that I think is very fantastic, and usually a sign of not great things. So if you guys remember, we've talked about how as much as Pokemon has sold well, it has still had really problematic reviews and lots of problems in terms of production, and a lot of fingers are pointed toward Masuda. And I'm unsure whether or not that is actually the reason why this has occurred, but Masuda is now on the Pokemon Company side. He is no longer going to be the director for the games, and I'm kind of surprised by this, but at the same time, it feels maybe it's the right time, and it's kind of, it'll be a change of generation. Pokemon Company, I still think, hamper and hold back Game Freak quite a lot, but who knows, maybe him being on that side might help, but it's probably not going to change a lot of things. I think the way Game Freak kind of works right now will continue to be the way Game Freak works. But congrats, quotation. I don't know if this is really congratulations to Masuda. If this is what he was wanting to do, then sure, but if not, then it's he's done a lot of work. This has been a long ride for him, and Pokemon wouldn't be Pokemon without him in a lot of ways. Hey Al, welcome in, Raiders. How you doing? What are we doing, Al? What do you mean one? What do you mean? What do you mean, Al? What do you mean? Maybe the people were already here. Sometimes if people are already here and they're on your stream, then it doesn't count it, but Hollow Knight. Oh, we're actually gonna be talking about this game very shortly.
Listen, man, I am honestly only here because she respects you.
Ravenroot, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. What's happening in this clip out? I just see you purchasing stuff from the man himself, the big chunkster. But yeah, Master is joining Pokemon Company. So yeah, we'll see if this is any change. But I hope you had a good stream out. All right, like I said, we got a lot. We got a lot of stuff. You get Rise DLC? Yes, I got it. I actually got it last stream, Super One. So we got it. I can play it when it comes out. We're not going to be worried. We're fine. We're good now. And thank you for reminding me. Speaking of non-Pokemon games, the Shantae Series 20 yesterday. Damn, man, that's so. Shantae is such a strange series to me. If it was one of those things where it was like an underground classic that got revitalized and now people are aware of it, but then it's kind of gone again. It's bizarre. Running from Mummy Demescu, like a little bit. I mean, that's all you can do sometimes in Resident Evil games, but yeah. All right. Sony State of Play thoughts. We'll get to that. We're almost there, Superwoman. They might have demons. Cats be like that sometimes. Sonic Frontiers gameplay video shows Sonic climbing a tower. There was more than that. This is not a great headline for it. I feel like this is a pretty funny headline. But there is two videos for the Sonic Frontiers game that were shown off. And look, I wasn't as critical as others were for this. I think this actually looks pretty decent in some ways. So this is going to be a weird game. Can already tell how much this is going to be a weird game. So it's kind of an open world Breath of the Wild situation with Sonic, which I'm not sure that's really the way to do it. But what's funny about this is it looks nice, minus the whole weird tracks floating in the middle of the air, which a lot of people have criticized. This looks nice. It doesn't look terrible compared to us just looking at Pokemon, and I was very critical on that. Visually, I'm fine with it. However, this sort of thing where Sonic's climbing, having Sonic climbing is very strange, but I don't know if Sonic as a movement style system really works for this, the weird climbing tower situation, but at least it kind of looks fun. I don't know how long it would be fun for if there's a lot of this sort of thing, but at least this kind of looks fun. But one of the big things about this video is it shows off a lot of just general movement stuff and how the environment will be approached, render distances, the type of game it will kind of be. But at the same time, it does look like, if you've ever seen games in development, this looks more like a tech demo. This looks more like when you're making environments and testing things and you just make a big open environment to make sure that all the mechanically it still works. It almost looks like that's what they've made and then they decided to turn it into a game. And that's good and bad, but I don't know how long this will be fun for. They'll need to figure out, we don't quite know what this game is yet, and people have suggested that this might be a hub area, and there might be more to the game other than just this particular zone. Maybe it's multiple zones that are like this and there's things to do. If you're a keen-eyed person, you do see multiple enemies in this, as well as various like a couple of NPCs around. But it's kind of a weird puzzle overworld game where you just kind of collect stuff, as far as we can tell. And to what ends, we don't really know. You got the chance to meet Matt Bozon, the creator of Shantae, really 5 years ago. That's amazing. That's so cool, Octo. That would be very exciting. I don't know about Fierce Frontiers. There's always something about 3D Sonic games. I know. At least it kind of doesn't look as jank, and it looks like it's kind of got a decent amount of variety going on in a sense. So we'll see. There's some. It shows off some of its puzzles. If you want to watch the full video, it's out there, but it's nice looking. I think that he kind of has some jank movement. Like a good example was him coming over the sledge. There's little bits and pieces here. This game, I would say, is probably 70 to 80% through development, which is a bit concerning in a sense if this is what they're showing off. But at the same time, it isn't the worst. Like, watching this is the thing we've been asking for as Sonic fans for an eternity. Sonic running through wilds seamlessly through environments and not being trapped to a particular track. And it looks good. I think that looks fun. So this new engine that they've developed for Sonic has worked. I think this works. People have brought up like pop-ins and things like that, and you can't really escape that stuff, especially when you're moving at a particular speed for games like this without losing a lot of fidelity. So it works out. I think this isn't terrible, but I definitely would like to see that there is more going on in this game, because otherwise I worry that it could be a little simplistic. Now, I haven't actually watched this one. They actually also put out a combat system one, which if you watch the original trailer, like I said, the combat did not look great. And I kind of laughed at a few of the animations, but I kind of want to skip through this, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to watch this because I haven't seen it fully yet. But it mostly is tied to this enemy, I would imagine. This seems like primary enemy that they're going to be showing off for a bit. There you go. You can see Sonic losing his rings there. I don't really like the world design. It feels weird with a Sonic character. Yeah, I don't know. It is a weird combination. Oh, I don't really know what the point of that was. So that's obviously the enemy shielding. So hang on. So, okay. So if you've ever played older Sonic games, this is very different. Sonic usually has enemies that only take 1 or 2 hits. Oh my God, there it is. There's that weird tornado up thing. So yeah, again, these almost look like prototype enemies. It doesn't almost look, they almost don't look like proper enemies. Also, he doesn't go collect his rings, so I'm assuming you don't lose all your rings, possibly, when you take a hit. So I think it's trying to encourage you to continuously fight rather than... Sonic has ranged attacks, that's new. Looking very retro. I think visually this looks... I don't think this looks offensive. I think this looks okay. I think they needed a modernized Sonic. They're still trying to, again, 3D, they've never figured out how to make a Sonic 3D game, but, okay, all right. So, okay, they're actually trying to turn this into an action game. All right, interesting. And it doesn't look terrible. It looks like you're kind of taking your time with enemies, which is very different for a Sonic game. Weird, the rings I actually would say were not great moving. Rings kind of look a little jank when they come out of him. But this is a weird game. I think that's probably the conclusion that most people have come to on this one. This kind of looks like a funny, strange game. But yeah, it's very different for Sonic, because in the past it was just about moving forward, going fast, and getting through a level. This is taking its time. We're taking our time in a Sonic game. And I don't know if that will necessarily be for all Sonic fans, but this looks interesting at least. I kind of like the idea of having a bit more to do with combat in Sonic games, but you know me, I'm a bit of an action person, but yeah, this is certainly different. It feels very Elder Scrolls and Xenoblade. It's very Xenoblade. I can see a lot of Xenoblade here, but maybe not Elder Scrolls. I had a photo with him and me. It was so cool. Oh, that's very exciting up there. I'm in Australia, so it's very difficult for me to meet a lot of people in the industry. I just hope that they don't make Sonic kiss a realistic human. I think those days are long gone. I think they realized the massive mistake there. But oh, so we got little stretchy boys as well. All right, I'm going to stop watching that now because otherwise I'm going to watch all of it. But that looks at least interesting. I think that Sonic main has a direction that it's kind of heading towards now, which we'll see if that turns out to be a disaster piece or not. But here is a piece of news that I saw barely anyone talking about for some reason. And I don't know if it's because Dragon Age 3 went so poorly in some areas, or because of the fact that BioWare is really, really dismantled. This is kind of crazy that this has not been really talked too much. But we got the release announcement that Dragon Age 4 is a thing, and it's going to be called Dreadwolf. Now, I don't believe there's any trailers or anything. It was just kind of announced on a website. And finally, the announcement closed by saying additional details will come up in the end of 2022. So obviously it's not coming out this year. It looks like it's probably going to be for next year. And that's fine. I don't think people are in a rush necessarily to play this game. I am curious, considering how BioWare is currently, how this is going to come about, especially with how the last instance of Mass Effect was people were very upset with. So we'll see. I wasn't a fan of Dragon Age 3. Dragon Age 3 was okay. Dragon Age 1, I just wanted more of that game, but it's probably going to be more of 3. People are going to get what they want, sort of thing. If it fails, F for BioWare, yeah, it might be. They're in a weird state. They do have EA money behind them. However, it is a case where essentially we'll see essentially whether or not this lives up to expectations for a lot of BioWare people. Editor's note: there will be a Dragon Age Dreadwolf spoilers that suggest elements will appear in. Okay, I don't really know what they mean by that, but we won't look into spoilery stuff there. All right, it is time for the state of play. If you haven't watched it all, I'm not going to go and sit through and watch it. I usually would do a let's watch for something like this. However, it was very focused on VR stuff, so we'll probably just recap some of the VR and then jump into the actual announcements that I think I'll talk about today, because holy heck, not seeing this live kind of bummed me out. Resident Evil 4 Remake and the Final Fantasy 16 headline state of play. I've kind of stuffed up. So this kind of recaps all the stuff that was in the state of play, but you've probably all seen the announcements. There were big show stealers during this. It was meant to be focusing on the VR2, but it really was a good space for PS5 exclusives and new releases. So yeah. It's 8:11 at night, but it feels more like 3 in the afternoon. Because it's so cold here, Octo, it's the opposite for me. It's very much, it gets cold and dark early, so it feels much later than what it is. But let's start off with, I'm gonna move this one over here so I don't miss anything. Let's move that here. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered is coming to PC. So this is a VR one. This is an announcement for a PlayStation exclusive coming to PC. So this is a big deal for a lot of people. I did make a post on Twitter. You can clearly see which ones are the very popular ones that are announced. This is a game, this particular Spider-Man is very good. If you've not played this Spider-Man, it is fantastic. It's so good. I did play it on stream, so if you did want to, you can catch the VOD. I have yet to play Miles Morales. I'm holding off on it, but both Miles and the base Spider-Man game are coming to PC. So if you've not played them, you will get the chance to, and I think that's very exciting for a lot of people that don't have access to a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 or haven't got the upgrades essentially. But yeah. It mostly looks like the same game. I'm not sure how much has changed with it, but yeah. VR talk. Resident Evil Village coming to PS VR2. The VR2 must be very, very strong because the visual fidelity in these trailers is quite high. These didn't look like I was looking at VR games. So this generation of VR may be very, very good. So if you're excited for VR stuff, which I've never owned any VR, but I think that you're probably in for some exciting times, because RE Village is very acclaimed. People are very excited about this game, and getting a VR version of it in a game where it is mostly for it's a first-person game will be a pretty intense experience, I imagine, and probably pretty exciting. We won't watch the trailer because mostly it's just a Village trailer, but pretty cool. Horizon Call of the Mountain gameplay revealed. So we had this talked about a little while back. We hadn't seen any gameplay, and now we have got some. It doesn't quite look like Horizon to me with some of the model details and stuff like that. I don't know Horizon, but dude, this again really shows the strength of this new VR tech, because this looks really good for a VR experience.
I asked you
Really utilizing the strengths of the PlayStation 5 and getting it transcribed into the VR headset. This is doing wonders. Let's just double check that it's the highest resolution. It's not 4K. We'll put it on 4K. But yeah, dude, I'm shocked that this is on VR. This looks very, very good. I'm gonna get Stray when my PC's finished. Yeah, I didn't grab Stray as an article because I didn't really have too much to say about that one. But hey, Blaze, welcome on in. But look at this. This is a VR game. Like, this looks good for a like. I think we've reached PS4 levels of graphics again. This certainly doesn't look like a PS3 game. This looks quite good. So if you're into this kind of first-person experience, if you're into VR, the PlayStation might be the place to be for this one. But I don't know how many exclusives there will be, so it could be one of those things. I don't know how expensive the platform is, but there might be some experiences here that people will be really quite into. And it feels like Horizon is a good pick for this, because I think it's very striking visually, so. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm completely happy by seeing that for VR fans. Speaking of more crazy crap that I didn't expect to see on VR, No Man's Sky, a game that again has a lot going on, not necessarily high visual fidelity, but lots of visual elements. There is a lot going on, and yeah, I'm kind of surprised that this is on VR as well. So good eats. There's some good eats for VR fans. I don't know if have we seen the price range for the VR too? I'm not sure if we've seen it yet, but already there's some good exclusives here. We might be on the spot, and graphics might be getting much better. The games will focus on much more speed and such. No, the thing is with VR is still such early tech that it's still in a growth point. We're still seeing this thing like crazily increasing its power. So VR tends to make me motion sick. Yeah, I think for a lot of people it still probably does. It depends on how the game approaches itself though. But I would say that a lot of the first-person games you can get by as long as you're not making the player move really abruptly or too quickly. That I think you can find your mark. But sometimes it can be the type of game that it's just don't play it for too long. Find your happy point and stop playing. All right. Let's talk about the showstoppers. There were a couple other announcements that were more sort of indie focused and things like that. I'm not going to jump into them because we're already quite through the news. I don't want to go forever with the news, but we will talk about the big three. There were 3 reveals during this that I need to talk about. I'm torn as to which one I want to talk about first for the one of them, but first up, the game that was teased, leaked. We knew it was coming. We just needed the time frame for the announcement. Resident Evil 4. Let's watch the trailer. I do like the logo reveal because my brain first went to this color palette and the R. I was like, oh, Resident Evil 4. And I was like, oh, maybe it's Rockstar. But hear that Spanish guitar in the background? You know where we are. So, this game is the Resident Evil that I think that I've never played one. This is the only one that I genuinely think looks super fun to me. I may play this game dependent. And it looks like they're recontextualizing some stuff. It sounds like they're making some adjustments to the story. I do hope they keep the wacky cartooniness that is Resident Evil 4. But this game is gonna look crazy if considering what Village looked like, and I'm actually shocked that it took this long to get to the release for this or the announcement for this because of how much 4 and Village looked similar. Just in terms of setting and sort of design works, but got a crazy cult. No witches here, just crazy cult.
You will receive our most
I hope they do change some of the dialogue and voices. I like it being really kind of silly, cartoony, but they might make it a bit more serious. We'll see. I mean, considering who the primary villain is to this game, it'll be interesting to see how they approach it. But this game, people are pretty excited for, because I would say Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 4 were probably the games that people got the most connected to. So
it can be different. It has to.
Also, if you didn't see the meme about his jacket, there's a little disclaimer at the very bottom of the screen here. I can't tell if you guys can see it, but it says Leon's brown sheepskin leather bomber jacket appears with the permission of Shote New York City, because it's a branded jacket. I don't know why they have to have that, but it's pretty funny. But yes, this will be coming out in where are we? It will be coming out in March 24th, 2023. So still a year away, but plenty of time to make this game what people want it to be, I think. And I have big confidence in the team. Capcom's Resident Evil team have done brilliantly in the past 2 instances. So very, very ready for them to be doing good on this. I don't know if it's necessary. The thing is, I'm not quite sure if they're going to have Resident Evil be I don't know if they've got 2 teams at Capcom. I don't know if there's a remake team and a mainline team, but they do seem to share a lot of teamwork. So if there is 2, they're probably a bit blended. The original characters were Latin American Spanish, but they were in Spain. It confused the native Spanish speakers. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, interesting. Yeah, hopefully they do change that. I mean, surprising that they didn't do that right in the first time, but that's back then. Like PlayStation 2, GameCube era, it's kind of like very much voice acting was still a bit of a thing where they hadn't quite figured out how they wanted to do development for it. So I can understand where that might have come about. On your birthday, that's pretty lucky. All right, we are here at Final Fantasy 16 details. I very, very, very excited by this. This game looks like me to a T. As a big Final Fantasy fan, I was very upset with 15. 13, those 2 games really let me down. The 13 franchise. 14, though, is a brilliant MMO, and I love it to death. The lead man himself and his team were brought on from 14 to 16 to save Final Fantasy, and I think they might be doing it. Now, this game is less like an old school Final Fantasy than ever before. However, we do have a situation here where I don't care. They really want to make Final Fantasy an action game for some reason, and it may be a solo experience, might be teamed, can't tell at this point. Hopefully it does have other team members, but holy shit, I kind of don't care. This looks so good, chat. So we've got some show off some characters and 2Ds and stuff like that, but let's go watch on YouTube, I guess. All right, let's check out this amazing trailer. A lot of games for 2023. I mean, that was the thing. The COVID hold back, the waters will be breaking and we will get a lot of reveals. The end of this year and the start of next year will be very, very intense. So this is a war against summons. So the summons or icons in this universe will be the primary story driving point. And so that's where the powers come from on the main character. But dude, look at these summons. Look at Bahamut! Bahamut looks so good. These look genuinely gorgeous.
There's going to be another war, isn't there?
So I have very high confidence in the story as well because Business Unit 3 did do amazing jobs continuously on 14. And the fact that they brought in the Devil May Cry combat designer for this game, look at how this game plays. This game looks so good. It looks like the evolution of the previous action games and then refined and then just being like, screw it. We're just turning this into a proper stylized action game. We're not getting any more of the silly Noctis bouncing around with out of your control situation. You have full control and you will beat down foes in a stylistic way, and it looks good. But that's not all. It seems like the battle is going to be really big. These cinematics where we're seeing all the summons fighting each other in a war seems to be a part of the gameplay to some degree. It seems like, I don't know if these are all just individual boss battles or what, or you're continuously running into these, but these are very obviously scripted events. And they want you to know that the summons are the pushing point of the story in this.
There will be losses, it is true.
This looks so
Yet for
good.
every citizen who falls, another can be bred. For every home that burns, another can be built.
It looks such like a bombastic story too. I'm very excited. And then we see all the human hosts for each of the summons. And you're the host for Ifrit. So we don't know what the truth is about this, but this ends. So obviously Phoenix versus Ifrit is the main logo for whatever reason, the two brothers. But you are the wielder of Ifrit, and there's a second Ifrit. So there might be more than one summon host. We don't really know what it is, but this is pretty dope. I can't stress how excited for this. This is one of those trailers I kind of want to pick through, because both this and Street Fighter, which spoilers we will talk about next, have so much in the cutscene in these trailers that I want to talk about. The UI, I'm not sure how into it I am, but it's very focal. It's very much a boss fight situation for a lot of these fights we're seeing. The combat, if you have played Devil May Cry, you know what you're looking at here. That is a charge attack into a stinger. He is very much Dante, for sure. And we can definitely see in the bottom right hand corner, you can see the change in the shift of actual attacks. So when he's in his normal mode, we can see he's got like normal attacks, and then you have your basically your summon shift. So currently he's got junctioned on, I guess, Phoenix. We can see some health items. You can see his items in the left hand corner. And then in a later cutscene, because he's only level 13 there and he must have only Phoenix, I'm assuming this is the very start of the game. Also, welcome in Go. We have in a later scene here, we can see in the top right corner, he's got 3 different summons junction that you can rotate through. Odin, Shiva, Ramu, and you can see that he's using Odin as his primary. So there seems to be a stance switch just in terms of what you've got junctioned onto you. And then you seem to have a, like, you've got your normal fight mode. And then when you activate by holding R trigger, R2, it looks like, you'll be able to go and using their moves as a summon, which we can see here. He uses Gungnir, and then he finishes it with like Heaven's Cloud. So it looks like that's probably what the fight systems will be. It seems to be very focused in terms of it being one play, like the main main character versus a target. It does seem to have hoarded enemies every now and then, but it seems like you're trying to break down foes. It seems like they want you to focus on combat, and I'm okay with that. Completely okay with that. Rather than every mob just turning into just a health well or a just weird cannon fodder, it looks like they're trying to make you enjoy fighting enemies, which I would say they hadn't really succeeded in the past few Final Fantasies very well. And this is right up my alley. Look at this boy. He's an edgy great sword wielding mofo that plays like Dante. I couldn't ask for anything more in a Final Fantasy game. There's a reason why we're very excited to play Stranger in Paradise, by the way. Including Breath of the Wild 2, which had me like, are you serious? Wait, in 2023? Yeah, it's going to be a big year, Ori. I can't wait. So yeah, the story looks like it's going to be pretty 14-esque in the sense that we're seeing a lot of warfare, which takes us back to older Final Fantasies. This looks like a 14 cut, I'll be honest. Having a battle going on while overhead a giant elemental summons are just waging war. But yes, we get little glimpses of like the characterizations of these individuals. Obviously, this is that guy that we just saw there, and he's equipped on Titan. So he's turned himself into an Earth Boy. And I think we're just getting little snippets from various points in time. But really, it's hard to contextualize what's actually happening in the story just at this point. But dude, this game looks visually stunning. And it looks like it plays really well. So if the story is killer too, this game might be the Final Fantasy modern game. We'll see. I know a lot of people like 15, but I really did not like that. I think it was a disservice to the Final Fantasy franchise. At least 13 felt like a Final Fantasy game. This looks like it's probably less like a Final Fantasy game, but it has the heart of it, and that's probably more important, honestly. Advanced Super Mario World was apparently released on your birthday. I like that. Like you guys are now hunting for the games released on your birthdays. I probably have had a few, but I have no idea, honestly. But yes, very excited that. But this is the wild card that I was not expecting. So, Street Fighter 6 was announced. Dude, we knew this was coming. There was teasers for a while. We got the logo. People kind of was like weirded out by it. No one was expecting this game in this format. Check this out. This trailer is nutty. I can't get over how crazy this trailer is. This might be a Street Fighter or a fighting game for everyone. So we get Metro City. It's clearly Metro City. We kind of had stuff in in Street Fighter 5 that had this, but we're gonna see a lot more of Final Fight in this game. They've really leaned into the sort of the street aesthetic of this game.
When you go looking for strength, it's not like a game. This journey doesn't have a real ending.
So it looks like Luke is being posted as our main boy. He looks like he is going to be
start off on the right foot in this city. Hit the streets.
He's our new pro tag for Street Fighter. Ryu is old man. There's a lot to go on in these screenshots. I won't pause throughout first watch, but there is a lot here. We're getting reveals for like Mad Gear people. A custom character in an open world environment who fights street fighters. He literally is fighting random people on the street. And I would imagine that you will eventually get strong enough to fight the actual Street Fighters. So the OGs are here. Chun-Li, Ryu, looking amazing. Everyone aged up in a way. Like Chun-Li, I think they tastefully have done an age up for her. She looks older. Another new character here. A young breakdancing fighter. Possible drunken fighter. Who's obviously friends with Luke, I guess. Or not, I can't tell. So Jamie looks, we've got 2 new young faces. But dude, watch this game in motion. This looks good. The weight of all the hits, the very clean projectiles and decals. But if you're paying attention, you've played Street Fighter 4. I'm seeing some very familiar mechanics returning. And then Street Fighter 3, we're getting parries, baby. This game looks like it is Street Fighter 4, 3, and 5 combined. And it looks stellar. This game looks so visually good. Capcom creating the Resident Evil engine has done so much work for them. This has allowed them to make a visually amazing fighting game. This is the first, I would say, time Capcom has made Street Fighter feel AAA. This looks like a AAA game, and I'm excited. We can see here that clearly they've changed the logo. There was no way the previous logo would match this aesthetic. Look at how stylistic this game is. There's no way that the previous logo would have gotten left in that form. So we've got a new logo here. I still don't think this is the greatest thing. It's a bit hard to read, honestly, but it's fine. I think people will be okay with it. But dude, this game looks killer. This looks so good. Visually, just in terms of like the engine, just everyone looks really nice. The colors, everything pops. It's just in motion, it looks nice. This is like all in engine. But the overworld, having an overworld, I would like to point out for those who have never played Street Fighter before, these games do not have overworlds. They're literally you just go to places. You can clearly see this like Abigail's level from Street Fighter 5. They're bringing all these things together. Mad Gear being a physical enemy in a world that is Metro City. And Mike Hagar, unfortunately, has passed away. So this is a memorial for him. There's just a lot. There's lots of little details. You can see characters that haven't been revealed yet throughout this, which I will say, by the way, if you do give a shit about this game, be very careful looking up information because the full roster has been leaked. Most of the roster, I'm assuming it is the full roster. There is lots of little references in here, but there is straight up leaks out there. So be careful out there for those who do care. But I honestly want the leaks because that roster, if you've seen the leaks, be excited. If you've not seen the leaks, be excited. They are very cool. The designs are killer. This game looks incredible in all sorts of areas. They really, I think, took to heart what happened in Street Fighter 5 and with MVC Infinite. I think they really took those to heart and were like, we really need to make our games look good. And I think they figured it out. I think this looks great. Lots of references. If you wanted to go through all this, like pause throughout all of this, this particular, there's lots of references throughout this. And I have no idea. Someone explained to me why the Mad Gear enemies have boxes on their heads. I don't really know why, but if you've played Final Fight, there's lots of just cronies around, but it's obviously Mad Gear is going to. Final Fight is basically just part of Street Fighter now, so no Final Fight games coming out anymore, it seems. But we do get this open world experience where you literally get to roam around and just chill with people and fight strangers, and I think that's pretty dope. Literally becoming a Street Fighter, but at the end of the day, it is a Street Fighter game, so they actually do need to lean onto the fighting side. And we can see times move forward. This is the most forward in the timeline that we've had, and it's looking stellar. The new cast looks good too. I think these characters look nice. It makes me think that we're probably not seeing Yin and Yang because this guy feels like he kind of replaces the ideology of yin and yang, especially since those two boys are probably aged up a bit now. We can see more Mad Gears in the background as well. Off-brand versions of Poison and Hugo hanging around. But here's the big thing here. This is what we care about. For fighting game fans, this is what really fucking matters. This looks good. This looks like it feels good to do anything. Like, hits look satisfying. It looks like it has about the same tempo as Street Fighter 4 to me. Kind of 5 speed, but we're seeing stuff like this. Like, I think that stuff being clear to read, like, we're seeing essentially FADCs at times. We're seeing clear crush counters. We're seeing essentially, oh man, and the fucking, after the focus attack goes off, the ink being left on the ground, very cool. Very, very cool. It just looks stellar. This game looks so fun. We're definitely probably playing this on stream. I said on Twitter, there is some weird stuff. Chun-Li has a few animation sort of quirks in this. So obviously we're still in development time period. I would say Chun-Li is probably less done than the others. The boys look like they're pretty cleanly done, but Chun-Li has a few moments that looks a little rough for her. But something that people pointed out is just in combat alone, in this trailer and in the other trailer, there's something going on. There's muscle flexing inside the bodies of these characters mid-animation in-game. So this little moment of like here where Ryu bulges up, this sort of thing is happening mid-animation in-game. So they've gone super hard on making this game look really good. But damn, I can't get over how nice this game looks. And then the final beat is lobbies. Actual in-person lobbies with arcades. Now, if you've ever played ArcSys games, we know these. These are literally, I love these to death. I can't believe that they're not really in other fighting games, but it looks like Street Fighter has actually recognized that and they've brought it into their game. And this looks cool. I'd love to wander around an environment like this and just chill with people while like hanging out and then fighting at an arcade spot. And yeah, I think this looks really, really nice. Literally no criticisms, I feel like, looking at this trailer. Like, both this and Final Fantasy 16, I have no criticisms. I hope both these games play fantastically. I don't even care the story could be just hot garbage. If they've got a system where there's a single player experience that has an open world and the game plays good, this will sell like hotcakes. This game might be one of the biggest selling fighting games ever. Not including Smash Bros, of course, but this looks like it will do crazy good numbers. Very excited for this game. Speaking of rosters for games, extremely hyped when they lent Inkling made into Smash Bros. I can tell, Octo, that you're a big fan of Splatoon. But yes, too bad I suck at fighting games. The thing is, Red Rover, so I kind of went on a big rant with this one, but with this particular one, I'm going to say that with this system here, where you're going to be fighting Joe Blow in an open world environment, I would take a stab that this custom character will be your training area. This will be learning how to play fighting games. I have no idea if it means that you will be taking moves from other fighters you meet across the way and you will be incorporating them into a custom move set, which only will be playable in a single player experience, or if you pick a style and then you play like it. But this, I think this is a good way to teach people, honestly. I think this is one of those things where if you have this sort of system where people can take the time to learn how to play a game, I think for fighting games, that's something that I've been waiting for so long, where it's like a well-introduced single-player experience to help bring in general people that is going to teach them how to play, to make them less intimidated to go online and fight other people. Because that is the thing. As much as fighting games are multiplayer experiences, they are a one-on-one experience, which can frighten a lot of newer players out. But I think the time for fighting games are coming. There is actually stuff in here as well, Red, for new players that don't really know how to do systems. If you're scared of motion inputs can be turned off, and you can just use a simple mode, and those simple modes are just literally you push a direction and a button, similar to what you do in Smash Bros. And we've had that in a few different games, and it really is good accessibility. You won't be able to play as at top level as a proper player, but with how rankings and systems are and stuff, you will be less likely to encounter people like that. So you'll be playing with people on your level most likely. There's 9,200 out. Oh my god, Octo. That's so much. Hey James, what do you mean? You play Street Fighter by frantically button mashing? Everyone knows that? At a rookie level, James. I don't know about you, but if you go into online, you're gonna get bopped pretty hard if you're just pressing buttons. Unless there are certain character archetypes that I would say that works for, such as sometimes grapplers. If you just want to churn butter and press buttons, you might win matches here and there, but if you're playing against a real person, you're gonna get messed up, unfortunately. If I had to pick 2 more characters to put into Smash, it'd be Miles per hour. Unfortunately, Smash I think is done. I think mods are where all of that's gonna come from now. But yeah, very, very, very excited for this. This was a very pleasant surprise for me after me not really particularly enjoying Street Fighter V. But I think that this game looks stellar. I think this looks gorgeous. It moves well. I think it looks like it plays well. We'll just wait until we get hands-on, I think, and from like pros and stuff to say how they think it feels. But at a glance, I think this will be a killer app. This will be a very good game, and I am very excited. So fingers crossed they can keep up this level of development, and we get something that people will generally really enjoy. I can't believe there's lip syncs in like really good lip sync in a Street Fighter game. Like that lip sync to me is so clean. But damn. The next Smash Bros. Sakurai said there's not going to be another Smash Bros. And I don't know if we can hold him to that word, but I would be hard to push to think there would be another Smash anytime soon. If at all. Alright. Like I said, characters from the rosters are leaked, so if you want to avoid leaks, there is a shit ton of leaks. I can't get over how much there is. There is a lot with this. And I would say be very careful if you do care about that, but be excited if you haven't looked into them. Alright, but yes, a lot happened in the State of Play. That was a very cool thing to see. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, we have one more announcement that came out, kind of a nothing announcement, and there was a reason why this only was shown off during Sega's, on the Japanese side of Sega, because it really is mostly a Japanese focused one. It is a Sega Genesis 2, a new mini. Now, you guys know I'm not really big on the minis, but they're definitely there for retro collectors. And this was a very silly trailer for this. Japan. Agamask is there though, but we see the Genesis one getting beaten down. He's by himself. He's in a tag match solo. How can he overcome this? I wanted to get my dad a Sega Genesis Mini because his favorite console. Okay, so do you know what's funny, Octo? So how they promoted this at the start of this, before this reveal, there is a manga that is about like a man who he got his Sekai, and he fell out of time, and when he came back to our world, his first question is, because he was a massive Sega fanboy, is how's Sega doing in the console wars? And it's very sad for him. But what's funny is they used literally him and his manga art at the start of this presentation. Again, this is a very, very Japan pushed product, so it's just very funny. This is just so we don't really know what games will be on this, but I think they did reveal a couple. However, it's the Sega CD upgrade for the Genesis, so you'll have a few of those games that were sort of in its later cycle. Probably Sonic CD probably will be one of them, but it'll be the later generation of the Mini, of the Genesis essentially. But probably not for me. But if you're a mini collector or a retro console collector, this will probably sell quite well. So I would hazard a guess that they're most likely going to add Sonic CD. I would say that's probably going to be one of the bigger ones. But yeah, they've got a list here. They're showing off they got quite a few titles, but they haven't revealed at this stage what ones there are. So this is just the initial reveal. But yeah, very, very funny reveal, this one. And it's seemingly, I don't know if it actually does connect to the other Mini. I don't know if it, because that's the old console, but it might. But yeah. Oh, here we go. So we got it appeared on the Master System, Game Gear, but not on the Mega Drive. So they've got ones they've listed here. So this might not necessarily be the ones on there, but they've got here Bonanza Bros, Fantasy Zone, Magical Tarot. These are very Japanese games. Mansion of the Hidden Souls, Popful Mail, Shining Force CD, Shining in the Darkness. I'm not even sure what that one is. Self Seed, Sonic CD, there it is. Thunder Force 4 and Virtua Racing. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, so here's a trailer for the first few games. I didn't actually see this trailer. So this is something that came out post, I guess. I have the NES and SNES classics sitting at this very moment on a bookcase. But how often are you playing them, Octo? Yeah, these are very Japanese focused games by the looks of it. So if you're a retro collector, this is probably going to have some fun things here. I'm assuming, I don't know if we've got a Western release date for this then, because I'm wondering whether or not this comes outside of Japan, looking at this now. Because I don't think some of these games got localized. I've not got a chance to play them at all. Oh my gosh. What is Shining in the Darkness? Oh, it's Italia? Not Italia. What's the word I'm looking for? Etrian Odyssey. It's an Etrian Odyssey like. I always wanted to play this game. This game looked fun. What's this? Oh, Fantasy Zone. I played this in the arcade. This is really cool. This is actually quite fun as a shmup. But yeah, that's not a bad lineup. I think that's a good Japanese lineup. But again, I don't know is this coming to the West? It'll debut in Japan on October 27, 22, and a worldwide release is yet to be confirmed. So I don't think some of those games got localized. So I'm curious whether or not it will come to the West. But yeah, pretty cool. All right. Oh my gosh, we still got more to go, chat. We're most of the way through today's news. Latter half now. We're out of announcements. We're into a delays time. There's only one delay to talk about though, and it is the game that just keeps getting delayed. This game just keeps getting delayed. Yeah, I saw that, Wolf. I saw that earlier. God. It means that he's aware of the internet, which I didn't think he would be fully, but that thing getting memed back into cinemas is kind of bonkers. Surely no one's going to see that movie. Prince of Persia Remake is delayed past fiscal year 2023. So, man, CJ is going to be sad about this one. This game, I don't know if is coming out. This thing has been delayed so many times and been given to a new team. I don't know what the hell is going on with this game. This has gone through some insane dev hell for a remake. This is crazy. So poor Prince of Persia, those fans really need to hold out, I think. It's just, we'll see. OG SOT was a fire though. I know, everyone loves it. But I don't think Sans. I think the problem is Ubisoft and the team that they've brought in are not figuring out. I don't know what's happening. I really don't know. This is a remake, but at 30-minute repetitive combat sections. See, the thing is, I never played this Prince of Persia, but this is the one that I know everyone talks about, where it's like they love it to death. So this is kind of sad for fans, but it's just, I don't know what's happening with this game. It's just kind of bizarre. All right, that's the only delay that we've got to talk about at the moment, but we're now in for merch time. You ready for some merch? Got two to talk about today. Dude, I kind of thought about this thing before, which is I'd love like little either stone tablets or little metal cards. Yu-Gi-Oh! Egyptian God cards will appear as metal reliefs. These look really like, actually they look all right. I kind of wish they looked a little bit cleaner, but this is pretty cool. I'm assuming these will only really sell in Japan. They're $150 for the full set, but pretty cool. I've always loved the Egyptian God card art. I wouldn't mind to see, like, that actually looks really nice up close, actually. Everything's like embossed and everything like that. They're all pop out, and I wouldn't mind these, but they're pretty expensive. So if you're a collector for Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you probably wouldn't mind getting these. It is funny with this because if you've ever followed any of the Yu-Gi-Oh sort of communities, these cards usually people do make 3D versions of them. 3D cards are very common for that people make, and Konami putting these out, basically this is what the community wants essentially. Putting it over that someday there'll be remake Seasons and Ages. Octo, very, very, very unlikely, because Capcom and Nintendo don't really work together anymore, and the IP is in that weird space where made by Capcom, owned by Nintendo. I can't imagine they ever would get remade. They'll get ported, but that'd be about it. Hey Indominus, welcome on in. I brought you news of a sequel game. Oh my god. Just revealed, Indominus? Dang. 3D printer goes brrr. I'm assuming Indominus can't hear us right now. All he can hear is his 3D printer. Brits! Thank you for the sub, man. How you doing? 22 months. Holy shit. So, Prince, how did you feel about your favorite Capcom game getting revealed? Resident Evil or Street Fighter? I mean, I can dream. I can dream. You can, Octo, but that one feels like a bit of a long shot, unfortunately. Monster Hunter Mufo Sand merchandise features fluffy cats. These look cute. I'm actually surprised a few people haven't talked about these, but this is just some cute art, essentially, or cute merchandise. So Mufo cats are this is just a Japanese sort of brand essentially, and Capcom has gone and slapped some little Monster Hunter bits on them, and they're particularly cute. I really like this. So I probably wouldn't get any though, but if you want to, some more Japanese merchandise. It's funny how the amount of merchandise I show off ends up being Japanese ones. I do like a lot of Japanese things, but they're constantly making merch, so it's just easy target. I've seen plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh 3D print cards like that before. Yeah, they're very popular in Dominus, so it's like I'm not surprised that they've released those metal ones, and I think they're a good pick because the God cards, as useless as they are in game, people still have quite a fondness for them. A third Knights in the game? Yeah, well, I mean, Yuji Naka's no longer at Sega, so I can't imagine we're getting another Knights game. FF6 looks pretty dope. I hope we won't have the same debacle with 5. I don't know. Probably unlikely, but I foresee possible problems, but at this stage, I think not Yuji Naka, Ono no longer being in control of Street Fighter may fix things. We may see this generation way better because he's been completely moved away. I literally 3D printed a Slifer figure. I know, but I mean that's the thing. The old God cards, the God cards are still beloved, I would say. Though Sega saying they want to bring back the older series, there's such a massively slim possibility of Knights. Yeah, I can't imagine. Sega barely get any. The thing is, Sega barely use their IPs properly these days, or make new IPs, make new products. So it's hard to see any returners from them, unfortunately. All right, we're now on the downward slope. It's time for some anime. Pui Pui Molcar is getting another season. This is just a quick little. If you've not seen the show, it looks adorable. They're basically shorts of hand stop motion little animations of these little woolen mole cars. What is a mole car? I don't know, but they're very cute. And these sort of popped off. They're even getting a video game, which that game even looks cute in itself. But this is just a fun thing to see, is getting another season. But look at how charming these are. Oh wow, behind the scenes of them actually making the series. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's pretty cool. We just have to make our own Knights game? I actually am not sure how many Ogdo, I'd be curious. I've not really looked into Knights fan games. I wonder how many there are out there now. And the one I wanted to talk about is another trailer for Fullmetal Alchemist. This is looking really good. I think this might genuinely be a good movie. As a massive FMA fan, this might be a good movie. And there is a shit ton of spoilers. If you've never watched Fullmetal Alchemist, a lot of this will probably go over your head. But there is a lot of spoilers. Like, this literally is the last few chapters of the manga. So I'm assuming they're probably going to speed up a lot to get you to the end of the story. Live action anime Run for the Hills? Normally I would say yes, Indominus, but I don't think this looks terrible. The 3D looks a little jank, but it covers most of the important parts. And I think tone-wise, it's correct. So this might be okay. Like, it might not be the best thing ever, but I'm kind of excited for this. So we'll see. Japan never have the greatest movie production teams, but it looks like the manga. It looks correct to me. And there's a lot of correct shots here. Was Sonic the Hedgehog 2? I still haven't seen it. I want to watch Hedgehog 2. But yeah, these are literally the final moments of, like, the manga happening. So I wonder how. I'm sure, is it just the last arc? I'm really wondering whether or not it focuses on the last arc. Like, okay, that is like the biggest spoiler right there too. But I'll just point that out right at the very end. All right, the 24th of the 6th. So the end of this month, we'll know whether or not this is a good movie. But I kind of want to see it. Skeptical? I mean, it's okay to be skeptical. It's a anime live action. They're the type of things you kind of want to be skeptical about. But at least it genuinely looks fun and looks like it's honest to the series. Like it wants to be the series. All right. Controversies. There's one controversy I'll talk about. There was quite a few that actually did happen, but I didn't want to cover them. There are a lot of business ones again, a lot of just lawsuits and things. But it's Activision Blizzard again, but in a different way. So Diablo Immortal has launched in various areas. However, it won't be allowed to launch in 2 countries due to loot box legislation, and there might be other countries joining this soon. If you've not heard, Diablo Immortal is the new Diablo game on mobile. It's an MMO. It looks okay. It's basically a weird port of another game that's just reskinned into Diablo. This got announced an eternity ago. It finally has come out, and apparently it is loot box hell. Apparently it is extremely microtransaction heavy in a way that it is very, very toxic. And a lot of countries are now pushing back on this game. So I'm curious whether or not Activision Blizzard will change gears and start removing some of this stuff. But it's good to see. As much as people don't want to be on the side of the company, but it's good to see countries pushing back on laws to protect people against this sort of thing, because this is pretty bad. And I've heard some pretty not great things, including purchases character locked, server locked, and in some cases there might even be some timing stuff as well. So this is one of those things where they really are trying to squeeze money out of people, and who knows whether or not it will change, but laws really need to push back on some of this stuff because it is quite toxic. It's shocking some of this actually has come out and they thought it would be okay, but Blizzard's like, must get EA to notice me. Yeah. Speaking of Skeptic, I have no hopes for that new Mario movie. Dude, I mean, yeah, I don't either, but Nintendo wouldn't put out a movie, I think, without it being decent. So it might be mediocre is what I'll say about that Mario movie, which is kind of the Sonic movie as well, but who knows? It might be okay. We'll wait till we see it before we can make any judgments, I think. You had another line locked? Oh no, Dominus. EA Senpai. The first movie was okay. I didn't really like the first movie. It was pretty average. It wasn't really Sonic until the very, very, very end, and even then it was only kinda. But I'm looking forward to the second one at some point. I might watch it. Jim Carrey did really well in it. Yeah, but he wasn't really Robotnik. I don't think he was Robotnik. I don't think he was Eggman. I don't think he was any incarnation of Dr. Eggman. So it felt like Sonic, and not Sonic versus not Eggman, but I know some people enjoyed it. So that's fine. It worked. People talked about Sonic for the first time in a long time, so it did its job. And the last article of the day. I didn't grab any big ones again, just because we're quite busy, but big business time. Sony announces PlayStation 5 has reached 20 million sales worldwide. I do not know how this is possible, considering how many people say they still don't own a PS5. This number boggles my mind because I don't know who owns a PlayStation 5. I know so few people that do, and of those people, they barely have any games. So fingers crossed the new exclusives that just got announced in the State of Play, as well as new games that are coming out soon, will start bumping up that library. But right now, I still find it a funny thing that people are purchasing PS5s unless they're really big up-res fans of PlayStation 4 games. But that's kind of a big number. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, despite all the restrictions that are around those consoles currently, are still selling very, very, very well, which is kind of crazy. And it just shows that the industry is still on the up and up. We're still in a space where games and consoles are still selling very, very, very well. So, yeah, that is a good way to cap off a day of the State of Play, as well as just the industry just really chugging along. We've got so much. We're still in a space where it's just going and going. Yeah, I'm excited. Also, I've noticed at some point my mouse broke. Hang on, we're gonna do that. I think I fixed it. Yeah, there we go. But yeah. Oh my god, a lot of news. It's really funny. I've talked about it, how we want to try and reduce the news down, and then we end up having days like this where I did almost 2 hours of news. I kind of knew that was going to happen, but thank you everyone for sticking around for that. I hope you enjoyed a little recap of some of this, because the summer of games has just begun. There is so much to go. This is literally like week 1 of announcements, and we've probably got like another 2-3 weeks of this. So really excited for what's going to happen in next week and the week after, but it's going to be we're in the realm of unknown. It's nice to have a feeling of we're just going to get bombarded with announcements and release dates, and hopefully again a better idea of what is happening at the end of the year, because COVID really has still put us in a strange space of not a lot has been correctly announced, or announced in a way that we know what's going to look like the latter half of the year. So fingers crossed some cool shit's coming, because I'm already really excited. And I want to buy some games. I don't know about you guys, but this is like that thing with E3. Like, as much as it's like, it's a presentation, it's them pitching games to sell to you. But I'm okay with that because I want to buy some cool games. Okay, let's take a break. I think I'm going to take a break here, and we'll have I might have a decent sized one, probably like 10 minutes or so, and then we will jump into Hollow Knight. Again, not sure how far through Hollow Knight we are. I kind of want to push through as best we can, but we're in the post game, which I don't know how long that is, but we'll have to try and figure out how to see the second ending of the story. And once so tomorrow will also be Hollow Knight, very likely. I doubt I'll finish it tonight, but if we don't finish it tomorrow, we will probably have time to jump into a bit of Strangers of Paradise, which hopefully I can get it running a bit cleaner. But yeah, I'm going to go charge my Switch. Okay, no prob kit. Some users online made a Knights game in a game builder garage for the Switch. Really? That's pretty cool. I knew there'd be indie fans that would do that stuff. Okay, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back shortly for Hollow Knight. Hope you guys enjoyed some news. Be right back.